Hi, my name's Spencer Pratton. I'm the coach for Chelmsford City Walking Football Club. I'm also the current England over-60s walking football captain, and I'm also doing a bit of coaching with the England side as well. Well, I've been given the task of running the coaching for Chelmsford City Walking Football Club, something about which I'm very honoured and really looking forward to get things moving. And the idea is going to be to get a uniform approach across the board for all the coaches, so we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. There's one simple aim in football, and that's to score goals. And there are ways of getting to that end which all the good clubs, right from the top, right the way down, will incorporate, and that's really what I'm looking to do, to get those items involved in our everyday coaching and play to make sure everybody can improve as a player. What I've tried to do is put together a uniform approach, so we're all using the same exercises with the same goals, and that's the idea behind all of this. Now, an important aspect of successful coaching is ensuring that all the players are technically able to perform the exercises. I know from experience over 40 years that unless people are capable of doing that, then the exercises will keep breaking down, and it's not being elitist, but it's making sure that everybody's able to do what we're asking of them. And that is a very important aspect of this, and all the exercises I've designed have that firmly in mind. Now, one of the key elements of all the exercises that I like to sort of perform or coach is making sure that there's some movement and interplay in those exercises. It makes it more realistic, like a game situation, and in effect that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to replicate what we get in the game, a little snapshot in a game, and for this reason, just as in a game you wouldn't have players standing round in a circle just passing the ball 20 yards, standing still and just passing the ball and nothing else happening. We might do that in a warm-up, that's fine, but in exercises it's critical if we're going to get maximum benefit from what we're doing, that as well as the pass there's a little bit of movement, there's a bit of communication, because these are the things, whether it's the games we play that are just for enjoyment, or it's competitive matches for the club, the same elements apply. Movement, passing, communication, they're all critical. For example, any passing exercise, you could have player A, player B, just literally passing the ball. That's great, it's good, it improves your technique. One touch, getting the ball out of your feet, that's fine. But, there's other things we can put in there. We can put in, any passing exercise can include facets of movement, even if it's just coming out a yard, coming back a yard. Players are linking a pass with a bit of movement, and that is, all the best. You look at the best players, they'll pass the ball, they won't stand still, they're passing and they're off. Another one is a shooting exercise. You often see players just touching the ball, having a shot. Well, we can make that so much more effective by having a bit of interplay prior to that. So we would have some setup play. So someone with his back to goal, ball's played in, it's played off wide. The exercises I normally do, that's what happens. It's in, it's played off, the player comes off, plays the ball wide, and then we have players making runs behind, ball's played across, and we've got front, middle and near at an angle, which is good technique. So as you can see, from a simple shooting exercise, we can turn it into someone having a shot, which is fairly straightforward and wouldn't normally happen in a game. You normally would have limited space. You'd have to make some movement to get the chance. So with that upgrade that I've just discussed, that makes a whole new difference. Okay, so obviously the exercises I will be providing as soon as possible, and then we can all sort of work from sing from the same hymn sheet. One of the important things of coaching, and I think this is something that I've learnt very early on in my coaching career and carried with me throughout, is that coaches must make adjustments. My usual approach is to set up the specific exercise, run through it a few times to see how things go. So you're looking at, for instance, if you're doing an exercise, you allocate a bit of space for it. If you're doing a 4 versus 2 keeping possession exercise, it might be too big. The 2 might be getting nowhere near the ball, so you have to adjust. or the opposite's happening. It's too tight, and after 2 passes, it's being broken down, so that you're not getting any benefit from that exercise. The players aren't finding space and you know, passing between each other. So that's just an example. So we're looking at allocated space, enlarge it, reduce it. The numbers in the exercise, sometimes you can see after a minute or so it's not working. There's too many, there's not enough. Again, don't be scared to stop the exercise and readjust that. Rules, I mean, you can start with some rules. Sometimes you have to readjust those because, again, it's not working. You've got to look at the goals. What was intended at the beginning of that exercise? Are the goals being achieved? If they are, great, it's obviously working. If you feel that the goals are not being achieved, then again, you just have to stop it and readjust accordingly. Instructions are important, clarify them. Don't feel you can't stop play. At any time, stop play, pick things out. Something I've often watched is an exercise is underway, you can see errors being made. Unless you stop the play and say, right, let's go back to that position just then. If you can drop back a yard, you can drop back a yard. You had the ball, you played it there, but he was marked, he was unmarked. Just things like that, just so players can, you know, understand what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. Never be afraid to do that. Now, for me, finally here, the key element on every exercise is you start off at point A, and it might take 5 minutes, it might take 20 minutes. At the end of the exercise, or as we're going through the exercise, you should begin to notice a marked improvement in what people are doing because they're understanding it, they're following instructions, and things are exactly as the coach you're trying to achieve. And you should be able to see that from the start to the end. If things aren't changing, then there's probably something wrong with the exercise and maybe I have to revisit it. But generally speaking, and I've seen this in one, everyone knows the one I do where you've got the 2 in the middle, working as a team, 4 on the outside, in, back, through, support. And every single time I've done that, I've seen struggling at the beginning, and at the end of it, it's one touch, the movement's good, and it's great. It's actually working. So with every exercise, that's what you've got to be looking for. Then you know it's going right. So we're looking, just final little bit here, we're looking for players' confidence improving as the exercise goes on. We're looking for their understanding of what they're supposed to be doing, which is important. We're looking for the pace. The pace will start off slow as people are beginning to learn it. Then it should get a little bit quicker. 1 touch instead of 2 or 3 touch. Accuracy of what people are doing, the technique should be improving. The awareness of what's around should be improving, but as important as all of that, communication. When players are communicating, then you've really got a chance of improving no matter what you're doing, because that communication is key to everything. So that's just an introduction. I hope that gives us an idea where we're going to be going. Looking forward to moving on from here. Thanks very much.